Fly over this country for 6 hours and see no one, no road, no light, no smoke. Canada covers more ground than the United States. At night, seen from space, almost every light in Canada crowds into one thin strip along the border. Every city, every town, almost everyone. North of it, the lights stop for 4,000 kilometers. Not ice, not desert. Forest, mountain, river and coast, almost the size of Europe. A river throws itself off a cliff, twice the height of Niagara. No road has ever reached it. A wall of granite leans out over its own shadow, 1.25 kilometers straight down. An ocean climbs 16 meters up bare rock, twice a day, every day. For 400 years, outsiders wrote one word across this map: empty. They were wrong. What lies up there is stranger than anyone guessed. This is Canada. The spine. Our journey begins where the continent buckles. 2,000 kilometers inland from the Pacific, the crust of North America folded upward. It has been coming apart ever since. Dawn. The camera climbs. Below, a valley closes in on itself. 10 peaks stand shoulder to shoulder in one grey wall. And at their feet, water the color of nothing else on this planet. This is Moraine Lake. It is small, barely 0.5 kilometer long. It sits at 1,885 meters above the last of the trees, held in a pocket of broken rock. The color is not a trick of the light, and it is not a mineral dye. It is rock flour. Glacial silt, ground so fine that it never settles. It hangs in the water and throws blue light back at the sky. Every glacier above this valley is quietly manufacturing that color, 1 gram at a time. Drift higher and the shape of the place resolves. A great rock pile at the outlet, dumped here by a landslide nobody witnessed. Scree fans spilling from every gully like sand from a torn bag. Ice clinging to the north faces in the folds the sun never reaches. Nothing here is finished. The valley is still being built and taken apart at the same time. Drop lower. The water turns green at the margins, then black in the deep center. Along the shoreline stand larches. For most of the year, they look like any other conifer. Then, for 2 weeks in September, they turn the color of brass and let go. For half of every year, this place is sealed. The road in lies under meters of snow. Nobody comes at all. Canada put this view on its money and then locked the door. Lift again and the scale corrects itself. 60 kilometers of trail radiate from this shoreline into terrain that has never been logged, farmed or fenced. Grizzly bears move through it all summer, following the green up the mountain as the snow line retreats. Banff became Canada's first national park in 1885 after 3 railway workers stumbled into a hot spring and tried to keep it. It now protects 6,500 square kilometres of the Rockies, and it is only the beginning of the range. Turn north and climb. From up here, these peaks do not look like scenery. They look like a wall. The wall that kept everything west of it empty for 400 years. Following the spine northward, a single road threads between the summits. For 230 kilometers, it is the only human thing in sight. Drop in behind one vehicle and stay with it. The road runs from Lake Louise to Jasper. There are no towns on it, 2 petrol stations, no mobile signal for most of its length. The valley walls rise as the car climbs. Waterfalls come off the cliffs in white threads, some of them falling 300 meters without touching rock. At Bow's summit, the tree line gives up. Above it, ice. Then the descent. The road unrolls across a flat gravel plain braided with meltwater channels, silver and grey and moving. The car has not passed another vehicle in 20 minutes. This is the most photographed road in Canada. Most days, it is also one of the emptiest. Halfway along it, the mountains part. Something spills out between them that has been moving downhill for 10,000 years. "325 square kilometers of ice. In places, 365 meters thick. The Columbia icefield is the largest sheet of ice in the Rocky Mountains, and it sits on a divide. Meltwater leaving this one field reaches 3 different oceans: the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Arctic. There is almost nowhere else on Earth where a single snowfall can end in 3 oceans. Fly up the Athabasca Glacier, its most visible tongue. Crevasses open beneath you in blue seams. Then turn and look back down the valley. The story changes. Markers along the approach show where the ice stood in 1908, in 1935, in 1982. This glacier has retreated more than 1.5 kilometers in 125 years. It is now losing roughly 5 meters every summer. Hold on, the bare grey rock the ice left behind. The Burgess Shale, Yoho. But the rock the ice uncovers here is not blank. One valley to the west, it holds something nobody expected to survive at all. How does a soft-bodied animal last 500 million years? High on a ridge in Yoho National Park, a band of dark shale gives the answer. Creatures with no bones, preserved down to their gut contents. Some of them fit no branch of the tree of life we know. 500 million years ago, this ridge was a seafloor. Today, it stands at 2,300 meters. Rockies keep their treasures under ice and stone. 200 kilometers west, the land does the opposite. It grows over everything as fast as it can. The Rain Coast. A river runs out of the forest into a narrow inlet, and the salmon are coming up it. Watch from above. The fish are stacked so densely in the shallows that the riverbed appears to be moving. This is the Great Bear Rainforest. 64,000 square kilometers of coastal temperate rainforest running 600 kilometers up the British Columbia coast. It is the largest intact forest of its kind left on Earth. From the air, it reads as one continuous green surface, broken only by inlets and by the pale scar of a fallen cedar. The oldest trees here were standing before the first European ship reached this coast. Now come down through the canopy to the riverbank. A bear is fishing. It stands in the current, head cocked, waiting. It is a black bear, but it is white. This is the Kermode bear, the spirit bear. One recessive gene turns the coat cream. There are perhaps 400 of them in the world on a handful of islands, and they live nowhere else. The Kitasu and the Gitga'at knew about them long before anyone else did, and for decades chose not to say so. The bear was protected by silence. Now pull back. Follow the bear as it carries a salmon into the trees. It eats a third of it and leaves the rest. Multiply that by every bear on every river through every autumn. The salmon rot into the soil. The nitrogen in these 1,000-year-old cedars came out of the Pacific Ocean, carried inland in the mouths of bears. This forest is not standing beside the sea, it is made of it. Follow the coast northwest, and the mainland breaks apart into an archipelago. 150 islands, 70 kilometers offshore on the edge of open ocean. On a small island at the southern end of Haida Gwaii, a line of grey poles stands against the tree line, facing the sea. This is Skangwai, 20 carved poles raised over the dead and the outlines of longhouses that once held hundreds of people. In the 1860s, smallpox arrived on trading ships. Within a generation, the Haida population fell by an estimated 90%, and this village was closed. The Haida have made a deliberate decision here. The poles are not being restored, and they are not being propped up. They are being allowed to return to the forest at the speed the forest chooses. It is a monument that is meant to end. The islands let go of what they hold. 600 kilometers south, another coast is doing the opposite, throwing everything it has at the land, all winter long. There is no horizon today, only grey moving into grey. On the west coast of Vancouver Island, fly low over a 16-kilometre beach with nothing on it. Behind it, a rainforest that absorbs more than 3 meters of rain a year. Storm season here is not a warning, it is the reason people come. Swells that began 4,000 kilometers out in the Pacific arrive as walls of white. They break in rows, one behind another, all the way to the sandbars. Climb into the fog, and the beach disappears beneath you. "400 kilometers inland, the rainforest simply stops, and Canada turns into desert. From directly overhead, a small lake near Osoyoos resolves into hundreds of separate circles. Yellow, green, rust. In summer, the water evaporates and the minerals crystallize into rings. The Syilx Okanagan people call it Kliluk and have treated it as a healing place for centuries. This is the driest corner of the country. Under 300 millimeters of rain a year. West of the mountains, the land is vertical and crowded with life. Cross back over the peaks heading east, and it does something Canadians find harder to explain to visitors. It flattens, and it keeps flattening for 2,000 kilometers. The horizontal country. From 2,000 meters up, southern Alberta is a single flat plain ruled into squares by roads and wheat. There is nothing here. That is the first impression, and it is wrong. Fly straight and level. Then the ground opens. Without warning, the prairie splits into a canyon 100 meters deep. Ridges, gullies, spires, and fluted walls in bands of grey, ochre, and rust. From above, it looks less like a landscape than like something spilled. These are the Alberta Badlands. The plain did not rise, the rivers cut down. 75 million years ago, this was a coastal swamp on the edge of a shallow sea that split North America in two. Warm, wet, crowded. Then the sea drained, the ice came, and meltwater rivers soared through the sediment and exposed everything the swamp had buried. Drop into the canyon and follow a dry wash between hoodoos. Pillars of soft rock, each capped by a single hard stone that has kept the rain off for centuries. More than 50 species of dinosaur have been recovered from this one park. Over 400 substantial skeletons have gone out to museums on 5 continents. There is no other place on Earth with a density like it. And it is not finished. Every spring, frost and rain strip a few more millimeters off these slopes, and something new comes to the surface. Somewhere on this hillside, right now, a bone is being uncovered that no human has ever seen. Nobody is there to see it today either. Downriver at Drumheller, the Badlands run for 100 kilometers beside a river the width of a suburban street. Then lift out of the canyon. The wheat closes over the top of it and the ground is flat again, as though nothing had happened. That is the true character of the prairies. They do not announce anything. They hide a 100-meter canyon 3 meters from a grain truck's tires and let you drive past it at 110 kilometers an hour. These cliffs were a graveyard long before anyone knew what a dinosaur was. 200 kilometers south, a much smaller cliff was used as something else entirely, deliberately and for almost 6,000 years. Runners are moving through the grass 3 kilometers out wearing wolf hides. They are not hunting, they are steering. Follow the drive lanes from above. Hundreds of stone cairns still visible in the grass after 50 centuries, funneling a herd of bison toward a low sandstone escarpment. The animals cannot see the drop until the last 20 meters. By then, the herd behind them decides everything. Below the cliff, the bone bed runs 11 meters deep. The Blackfoot used this place from around 3700 BCE until the 1800s, not occasionally, repeatedly for nearly 6,000 years. Longer than the Egyptian pyramids have existed, a successful drive fed a community through a winter. Everything was used: hide, sinew, marrow, and bone. Pull back off the cliff edge. The grass runs away west to the mountains, exactly as it did then. The lanes are still there, only the animals are missing. The herds that fed this cliff once numbered in the tens of millions. Within 30 years of the railway's arrival, they were effectively gone, but not everywhere. There is no sound here that a human made. Fly for 4 minutes over unbroken mixed grass prairie and pass nothing. No fence, no pole, no road. This is one of the last significant fragments of native prairie in North America. 99% of the rest was plowed. Plains bison were brought back here in 2005 after an absence of more than a century. From above, they are dark commas moving slowly across pale grass. Beneath them are the only wild black-tailed prairie dog colonies left in Canada. Then night, and the real superlative. This was Canada's first dark sky preserve. On a clear night, the Milky Way casts a shadow, and Saskatchewan goes black from horizon to horizon. A province larger than France, with under 2 people to the square kilometer. Along the Milk River Valley, sandstone cliffs hold the greatest concentration of rock art on the North American Great Plains. Thousands of figures, shields, riders, battles. What do you carve when you are trying to speak to people who have not been born yet? The Blackfoot name for this place means it is pictured, it is written. Some panels are still being interpreted, others were never meant for us at all. "600 kilometers north, sand. 100 kilometers of open dunes with boreal spruce growing right up to their edge and ice on the lake beside them for half the year." On the south shore of Lake Athabasca, at 59 degrees north, sit the most northerly major dune fields on the planet. Some rise 30 meters. There is no road in. 10 plant species here grow nowhere else on Earth. We have now crossed 2,000 kilometers of a country almost nobody lives in. Turn south. In a single afternoon's flying, we reach the place where almost everybody does. The ribbon. 3,000 tons of water every second. Come in low over the Niagara River, flat, wide, unhurried. Then the river simply ends. Horseshoe Falls is 57 meters high and 800 meters across. Hover in the spray column above it, where the mist rises higher than the drop itself. This is not the tallest waterfall on the continent. It is not close. What it has is volume. The drainage of 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, forced through one notch in the rock. Now pull back and keep pulling. The falls are ringed by hotels. Beyond them, roads. Beyond the roads, an unbroken carpet of suburb running east along the lake for 100 kilometers without a gap. And then the towers. Toronto stands on the north shore of Lake Ontario. 6.5 million people in its region, 1 in 6 Canadians. From the air at sunset, the grid runs to the horizon in every direction except south, where it stops dead at the water. More than half the people living in this city were born in another country. Around 200 ethnic origins are recorded here. More than 180 languages are spoken. The CN Tower rises 553 meters out of the middle of it. For 32 years, the tallest freestanding structure in the world. Now climb until the city is a smudge, and the point of this entire film becomes visible in one frame. Everything you have just seen sits inside a band of land close to the American border. The towers, the suburbs, the highways, the vineyards. Roughly 9 in 10 Canadians live within about 160 kilometers of that line. The rest of the country, the 9.5 million square kilometers above it, holds what is left over. From up here, the ribbon is obvious, a bright seam of light along the bottom edge of a dark continent. Canadians are not a northern people. They are a northern country's southern edge. Everything above this line, they mostly leave alone. Follow the water east out of the lakes. The ribbon narrows and follows one river. On a cliff above it stands the oldest walled city on this half of the world, Old Quebec and the St. Lawrence. A headland of rock, a river narrowing beneath it, and a wall of grey stone along the cliff top. Quebec City was founded in 1608 on the one place where the St. Lawrence pinches to under a kilometer wide. Whoever held this cliff held the entire interior of the continent. Circle the ramparts. 4.5 kilometers of them. These are the only intact fortified city walls left anywhere in the Americas north of Mexico. Drop into the lower town, stone houses with steep tin roofs built at that angle for one reason. 3 meters of snow a year has to go somewhere. Narrow streets laid out for feet, not for traffic. Lift back over the roofs and the river opens east. "400 years ago, everything that came into this continent came past this cliff, and everything that left went out the same way. The St. Lawrence carried Europe inland, but the water that dominates this country was never the sea. It was the lakes, and their scale takes some adjusting to. There is an island in a lake, with a lake on it, with an island in that. Manitoulin in Lake Huron is the largest freshwater island in the world. (2,700 square kilometers, holding 108 lakes of its own. One of those lakes has an island in the middle of it. To the northwest, fly out over Lake Superior and lose sight of land in every direction. 82,000 square kilometers of fresh water. Deep enough to hold every other Great Lake inside it, with room to spare. Ships disappear here. The coast is still mostly forest. "12 hours north of the ribbon, the roads end. Pimacquewin-Aki covers 29,000 square kilometers of boreal forest, lake and river, straddling the Ontario and Manitoba border. Anishinaabe communities have lived in it continuously for thousands of years. The name means the land that gives life. From the air, it is water and spruce, repeating past the horizon. This is where Canada's inhabited edge finally lets go. The boreal forest runs from here almost to the Atlantic. Follow it east, past the last farmland, until the continent runs out of ground and the ocean starts taking pieces back. The Atlantic edge. Nothing grows here. On an island that gets more than a meter of rain a year, an entire mountain is bare. Cross a green fjord valley. Spruce, bog, waterfalls, everything soaking. Then the color changes in a single line, as if someone had drawn it. Ahead, a flat-topped massif of rust-orange rock. No trees, no grass, nothing but broken stone the color of an old engine block. This is the Tablelands in western Newfoundland. For a long time, nobody could explain it. The rain is the same, the latitude is the same, the rock refuses. The answer, when it came, rewrote how we understand this planet. This rock is not from the Earth's crust, it is peridotite, mantle rock from tens of kilometers down where nothing living has ever been. Around 480 million years ago, two continents collided here. The collision pushed a slab of the sea floor up and over the edge of the land and left it stranded there. It is toxic to plants. Too much magnesium and heavy metal, almost no calcium. So it sits there, orange and silent, beside a rainforest that cannot cross the line. These hills became some of the first hard proof that the plates of the Earth move. Now turn north into the fjords. Western Brook Pond is not a pond. It is a landlocked fjord. 650 meters of vertical rock on both sides, carved by ice, then cut off from the sea when the land rebounded upward after the ice left. The water in it is among the purest anywhere, so low in dissolved minerals it barely conducts electricity. Fly the length of it. 3 kilometers between the walls, waterfalls dropping the entire height and turning to mist before they land. There is no road to the shoreline. There never has been. Follow the coast south and west around the Gulf. Here, the Atlantic does something it does nowhere else on Earth at this scale. 16 meters, twice a day. The Bay of Fundy has the highest tides on the planet. At Burnt Coat Head, the recorded range exceeds 16 meters. The height of a 5-story building, rising and falling every 6 hours. 160 billion tons of seawater moves in and out of this bay on each tide. More water than the combined flow of every freshwater river on Earth. The cause is resonance. The bay is exactly the right length and depth that its natural rhythm matches the Atlantic tide. Each pulse pushes the last one higher. At Hopewell Rocks, film the same frame twice, 6 hours apart. Low tide. People walking the seabed between sandstone columns 20 meters tall. High tide. Open brown water and the tops of the same columns standing alone, wearing trees. This coast has been swallowing and returning things for a very long time, but one arrival on it went unrecorded for 900 years. And when it was finally proven, it rearranged a chapter of world history. Who was the first European to stand in the Americas? The answer is on a bare, wind-swept meadow at the northern tip of Newfoundland. "470 years before Columbus. Fly low over the turf. From above, the outlines are faint. 8 shallow rectangles in the grass, the footprints of Norse sod buildings. A local fisherman had been pointing them out for years. Nobody listened until 1960. Excavation found a smithy, a bronze cloak pin and iron boat rivets. In 2021, tree ring analysis of cut wood produced an exact year. That single date is the earliest precisely known moment of Europeans in the Americas. They did not stay. Perhaps a decade, perhaps less. The sagas describe conflict with people already living here, and there were a great many of them and very few Norse. Pull back over an empty coastline of low grass and grey water. They came, they built, they left. The grass closed over it for 900 years. That settlement was abandoned and forgotten. 300 kilometers offshore, something else was abandoned here. And it did not disappear. It multiplied. A thin crescent of sand in the open North Atlantic, 300 kilometers from the nearest coast. 42 kilometers long and in places barely a kilometer wide. There are horses on it, around 500 of them, wild, with no shelter and no fresh surface water except what collects in the dune hollows. Nobody is certain how the first ones arrived. The most likely story involves confiscated livestock in the 1760s. Around the island lie more than 350 recorded shipwrecks. And a bell somewhere inside it. Move over the granite shelves at Peggy's Cove, then over Lunenburg. Red, blue and yellow timber houses in a grid laid out in 1753. And every spring, north of here, the icebergs come down. 10,000 years of Greenland snow drifting past fishing villages close enough to photograph from a kitchen window. We have now traveled the entire southern edge of this country, ocean to ocean, and in all of that, we have not once gone north. That is where the emptiness actually begins. The subarctic. West of here, the mountains stop pretending to be hills. 5,959 meters. Mount Logan is the highest mountain in Canada and the second highest in North America. But height is not what makes it strange. It has the largest base circumference of any non-volcanic mountain on Earth. A massif with 11 peaks over 5,000 meters and a summit plateau that sits near -45 degrees in winter. Fly it from 20 kilometers out, the scale refuses to resolve. Around it, Kluane holds the largest non-polar ice fields on the planet. From above, they are not white. They are grey and brown and blue, ribboned with moraine. Dark stripes of ground rock riding the ice downhill for decades, curling into loops where two glaciers meet and merge. Some of these glaciers are longer than a country's entire river system. Nobody lives in any of it. Grizzlies, Dall sheep, and ice. To reach the top of this country by road, there is exactly one option. For most of its length, it is not paved. Pick up a single vehicle on gravel and stay with it. 736 kilometers from Dawson City to Inuvik. 2 settlements the whole way. Carry your own fuel and 2 spare tires. The road climbs out of the trees onto the Tombstone Plateau. Black granite spires in a sea of orange tundra. Then it crosses the Arctic Circle and the vegetation gives up in stages. Spruce shrink to waist height, then to ankle height, then to nothing. North of Inuvik, the road continues onto the Mackenzie Delta. 138 kilometers built on gravel laid over permafrost, drivable only because the ground beneath it never thaws. It ends at Tuktoyaktuk on the Arctic Ocean. Canada's first all-season road to the Arctic coast opened in 2017. Around the village, look for them. Pingos, ice-cored hills pushing up out of flat tundra, the tallest close to 50 meters. Around 1,300 of them, the greatest concentration on Earth. South and east of here, a national park larger than Switzerland, and the largest dark sky preserve in the world. Wood Buffalo covers 44,800 square kilometers of boreal forest, salt plain and river delta. It holds the last natural nesting ground of the whooping crane, a bird that was down to 21 birds in the 1940s. And somewhere in its marshes runs the largest beaver dam on Earth, 850 meters long. Nobody knew it existed until it appeared on satellite imagery in 2007. Green light moving. Yellowknife sits directly under the auroral oval on the shore of Great Slave Lake. 614 meters deep, the deepest lake in North America. For 4 months a year, the lake freezes hard enough to drive on. Ice roads open across it to communities and mines that have no other link to the world. Then, in May, the roads melt and the country closes again. "600 kilometers west on a river bend, wooden facades lean where the permafrost beneath them thawed. In 1897, word got out that there was gold in the Klondike. Roughly 100,000 people set out. They came over the pass on foot, up a staircase cut into the snow, one behind another, in a line that did not break for hours. About 30,000 arrived. Dawson City swelled to 40,000 in 2 years and became the largest settlement west of Winnipeg. Today, around 1,600 people live there. Everything so far has still had trees in it. From here north, the trees stop, and the country becomes something most people have no reference for at all. The high Arctic come in low along a frozen fjord on Baffin Island, and the walls begin. Granite rising straight out of the ice on both sides, no slope, no scree, no transition. This is Auyuituk. This is Auyuituk. In Inuktitut, the name means the land that never melts. Baffin is the 5th largest island in the world, larger than Spain. Around 13,000 people live on it. Ahead, a single face. Mount Thor, 1,250 meters of unbroken rock, the greatest purely vertical drop on the planet. And it is worse than vertical. The wall leans out at an average angle of 105 degrees. A stone released from the summit falls 1.25 kilometers through open air and touches nothing. There is no way to judge the scale of it until you find something at the base. A tent, 4 pixels wide, on a plain of grey boulders. Everything here was carved by ice, and the ice has not left. It is not a relic of the last ice age. It is the last ice age still going at a reduced size. Now climb, and keep climbing until the valley is a scratch. Nunavut is 2,093,000 square kilometers, larger than Mexico, larger than Saudi Arabia, 1/5 of Canada. Around 40,000 people live in it. That works out to 1 person for every 50 square kilometers. There is not one road connecting any of its 25 communities to any other. Not one. Everything arrives by aircraft or by ship during the few weeks the sea ice opens. This is the emptiest inhabited territory on Earth, and it has a name, a government, a legislature, a language written in syllabics, and people who have lived here for 4,000 years and do not consider it empty at all. Empty was always a word from somewhere else. Nunavut has 40,000 people. 200 kilometers north of Baffin, there is an island the size of a European country with none. "55,000 square kilometers, nearly the size of Croatia. 0 permanent residents. Devon Island is the largest uninhabited island on Earth. Fly over polar desert. Frost-shattered rock, dry valleys, no soil, no plant taller than a thumb. Under 200 millimeters of precipitation a year. Then the ground curves and a crater opens. 23 kilometers across, punched into the island 39 million years ago. Horton Crater is one of the closest analogues to Mars anywhere on this planet. The rock chemistry, the temperature, the dust, and the absence of anything alive. NASA has run field seasons here since 1997, testing suits, rovers, and drills. The logic is simple. If equipment survives Devon Island, it might survive somewhere else. Hold on a valley that could pass for footage from another world, except for one detail at the edge of frame. The sea. Frozen, but there. The Arctic is often described as lifeless, but the people of this coast have been reading it and living on it for longer than most nations have existed. 2,000 kilometers southeast, that relationship is written into the mountains. A boat comes into a fjord at dawn. A man on the bow watches the shoreline, rifle across. He is not hunting. He is a bear guard. He is Inuit, and this is his job because this is his family's land. Lift away from the boat and the Torngat Mountains open out. 9,700 square kilometers at the northern tip of Labrador. Peaks over 1,600 meters dropping straight into saltwater fjords. No road, no town, no permanent building, no signal. The name comes from Torngait, a place of spirits. Inuit have traveled and hunted here for thousands of years, and the park is cooperated by Inuit from Nunatsiavut and Nunavik. Every summer, families return to a camp in Saglik Fjord. Elders come with them. Children who have grown up in coastal towns are brought back onto the land their grandparents walked. Pull out over the fjord. The boat is a white mark in a very large frame. Pingualuit crater, Nunavik. How do fish get into a lake with no inlet and no outlet? In northern Quebec, a perfect circle of blue sits in flat grey tundra. A crater 3.5 kilometers wide blasted out 1.5 million years ago. It is fed only by snow. Its water is among the purest on Earth, with visibility down to 35 meters. Arctic char live in it. Nobody has fully explained how. At 82 degrees, 30 minutes north, 817 kilometers from the North Pole. Alert, on the tip of Ellesmere Island, is the northernmost permanently inhabited place on the planet. The sun does not rise for 4.5 months. It does not set for 5. Fly over Kootenay Park National Park. 37,000 square kilometers, the most northerly park in the world and one of the driest places on Earth. The Inuktitut name means the top of the world. From here, there is nothing left to travel to, only ocean and ice and the long way back. Turn south and begin the return. Over the ice, over the tree line, over 4,000 kilometers of forest and lake and rock that no one has ever named in any language, because no one has ever needed to. From a river of headless legends in the Northwest Territories to a wall of granite that leans out over its own shadow. From 200,000 kilometers of coast to 2 million lakes to a bay that lifts the Atlantic 16 meters and puts it back down again. And then, at the very bottom of the frame, that thin, bright seam of light along the southern border, where almost everybody is. Canada is not empty, it is unattended. There is a difference. Stand anywhere in the 9.5 million square kilometers above that line, and you feel it immediately. The land is not waiting for anyone, it never was. For 400 years, outsiders wrote one word across the top of this map. The people who live up there have always used a different one. Home. Discover the world. Explore the extraordinary. See you in the next adventure.